Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another night of Apex Autoglass and Indy 410 Sprint Car Championships here on OSRN. My name is Bert Wojcik. Alongside me again this week here is the great Drake York.
Defensive line at 3 and 4. Does Merriman have anything up top? Does he have anything on the bottom? Checker flag is out. Mason Hannigan, your winner at the dirt track at Charlotte.
Bergeron takes the defensive line. He'll pick up win number 5 of the year. Alex Bergeron wins at Weedsport. First win of the season off a turn. Number 4, Hayden Carroll wins here at Cedar Lake. Tyler Shell will win the 4th season of the Apex Autoglass and Indy 410 Sprint Car Championship presented by B&B Race Simulators. He wins the championship once again here tonight.
เวลา
Hello everyone, welcome to tonight's racing action here from Lernerville Speedway featuring the next level Wing 360 sprint cars here on iRacing. Hello everyone, my name is Drake York. Joining me is OSRN producer Joe White as we get set for the next points race for this series. And Joe, we're headed in the Keystone State tonight, one of the most beloved tracks in not only Pennsylvania but all America. That is Lernerville Speedway.
You know, and I like this place. Every time I see it and come here on iRacing, I've never been into it in real life, but it is unique because one of the first things you see is there's no walls in the turns. You go off the track here, and you're either going out there down there with the fishing boats fishing, or you're going in the woods one. And I always say it's in the name, Lernerville. You learn real quick what you can and can't do up on that top side cushion.
Absolutely, and just to recap, last week Colby Akari rolled the bottom to perfection at Indiana's baddest bull ring at Kokomo Speedway. Miller, one spot short that night, of course, go on one night later to win the Apex Autoglass and Tinting Wing 410 Sprint Car feature at Kokomo, but was second with the 360s, and John Helms round out the podium. And Joe, you were us work that race, and Colby Akari just masterfully worked the bottom. I mean, nobody else really had anything for him in that race.
He did, and I mean, I sit there and I watched it, and I was like, wow, down there on the bottom, and I like what you was talking about down there catfishing on the bottom. I get a kick out every time you say that, and it's right. He made it work. Y'all was talking about you didn't think it was going to work early on, but he got that thing hooked up and was able to bring it home down there.
And if you do watch the Apex Autoglass and Tinting Wing 410 Sprint Cars here on OSRN, you'll also notice in the next level 360s that a lot of the Apex drivers run this series as well, and this is also kind of turned into a feeder series the past year or two for the Apex series. And it's a great series because not only do we get to see guys like Ernie Williams and Kenny Miller and Colby Akari come down and run this series and not only be successful, but be competitive with the series regulars. You have a lot of other guys, too, come in here, slice and dice, and mix it up with everybody else.
And you do, and it's like what you said, it's a stepping stone, because we run the 410s here on the Apex Autoglass 410 there on Thursday nights, and a lot of the pro drivers, they come in here for their practice for the pro series on iRacing. But here, the 360s, physically, if you look at them here on iRacing, you wouldn't tell the difference between it, a 410 and a 305. Obviously, if you stepped inside of it, you're going to tell a huge, huge difference. And in real life, the only way you'd really tell a huge difference is motor size. There might be a touch difference in the size of the carts and all, but for the most part, that power is the biggest thing. And these 360s are a good learning curve to step up to that 410 because not everybody can handle it.
That's right, and the best analogy I've used, or not analogy, more of just fact, I've heard from going to 360 to 410 is the 360 has got a lot less wheel spin, so it's a little bit more glued to the racetrack than the 410 is with all that raw power aboard. But anyway, we've quickly moved on from practice and headed into qualifying. Here's Colby Akari, last week's winner. He is taking to the Lernerville Speedway surface.
Yeah, trying to see what he can do. Garrett Pepe, I'm saying that, but Dal Osborne, but that's going to flip real quick, folks, as Kobe right there putting a good time up top, but then Voles there, and Allen. So we're not done with switching times here. See who gets that top quick time here at Lernerville. Again, the top side, from what I understand, it's the fastest way around this track. The safest way is down on the bottom. But you're going to have to rip that top side cushion. And again, it's a fine line between, going off the track and staying on the track.
Absolutely. David Allen, the fastest at a 12.90. Allen's best lap. Then it's Eric Wilkie second. It's 200ths off of Allen's fastest lap. Then it's Smith down in third. Remington Wade fourth. Brandon Voiles fifth. Now Ross Corinta, jumps up to sixth. Last week's winner, Colby Akari, is seventh. Ty Schobach. Actually, now here comes Kenny Miller onto the scene. We talked about him. Lost that race last weekend at Kokomo, and a bit of a nail-biter throughout that race because he seemed to have his hot flashes where he'd come back into the mix and led a lot of that race, but as we said, got redemption with the Apex Series. Also, Steven Volsong is going to go third fastest in the 47.
Yeah, it is. I mean, right now, I mean, got a good quick field, really tight out there. I mean, from 1290, and if you look at the times, and just go through this 40-some car field, there's not even a second split in this field, so that is tight.
Exactly. All drivers inside the top 10 within that 12-second bracket. The slowest, the top 10 is Ty Schoenblock at a 12.99, so scraping the edge of the 12-second bracket. John Helms, third place runner last week, was 11th fastest in the 21.
Yeah, and Erszynski, he had an up and down race last week. Just barn burner for him. He started out good, but then just ended up. And then right there's a perfect example of what we talked about. That's Lernerville for you there, folks. You saw, you take it to the top, it's the fastest way, but it is very, very slick up there as we are now going into heat race number 1. Grid these guys up real quick because out front we got David Allen. You got Kenny Miller going to start there in second. John Hillman third. Kenny Hoffman up in fourth. Sean Stevenson in fifth. Tim's in 9 there in 6th. Grant Vick up in the 7th. Jason Waller 8th. And Adam Fiegler around out the 9th place spot as we head here for Heat Race 1.
And the heat race is lined straight up off of qualifying, so David Allen be your pole sitter here in this one. And the track is, we know, Joe, just judging off what we've seen here in the last few weeks with the next level 360s, when the track is green like it is right now, not a lot of laps put on it, not a lot of grooves to go to, that qualifying position becomes oh so valuable.
It does, and you just said it right there when you refer to as a green track. It's almost like an oval track where there's not a lot of rubber laid down, no grip on the track either. So these guys in this Heat Race 1 got to be very, very careful, as opposed to maybe later on in the heat races where guys, coming out to a more of a fresher track and, able to do a little bit more, have a little bit more grip or whatnot. But there again, it all depends on your setup too. That's another thing. Most of the people running iRacing are used to fixed style setups. But here it's open setup. So a lot of it's going to dictate on how your setup is, how you want that car. I mean, you can't come out here on a track like this, Drake, and set your car up to this track. You've got to anticipate this track changing over time.
Exactly, and that's one of the beauties of dirt track racing. You never know what you could get. Heck, I sure hope it doesn't turn out this way tonight, but we could see it on the bottom or you could see a fat curve around the outside. I mean, that's the beauty of it. And it's funny, we talk about that. I was doing some prep for this upcoming USAC National Sprint Car race this Saturday night at Lawrenceburg, and I went back through that spring race like the last 6 or so years. No kidding, Joe, it was different like 4 out of the 6 races.
Wow.
So you truly never know what you're going to get when you show up to any dirt track in the U.S. or really internationally for that matter.
And I've always been amazed, oval tracks and oval racing, on asphalt, you kind of can read a track a little bit and set it up. Dirt, to me, has got to be unpredictable because it's dirt. It moves. And setting a car up to a track one way, and then that thing has got to change multiple ways throughout the race. So it does amaze me of how these guys are able to compensate for that, driver-wise, crew-wise, and whatnot.
And these guys, some of the best when it comes to wing 360s here on iRacing. You take a look at Kenny Miller, mentioned it quite a few times already, runner-up last week. The series, regular with the USAC East Coast Sprint Car Series, a multi-time Action Track USA champion. He rolls off from the outside of the front rows. Pace Track dives off turn number 3 of the Speedway. We're getting ready to go green with heat race number 1 on the evening. Allen and Miller set the pace.
They do, and green flag. You already see Allen get that good jump out front. You got Miller, Hoffman. They're going to be battling it out for second. Top 2 instantly go to the feature here tonight. It's a battle one for third place. Helms wants it. Hoffman's got it. Right now, Hoffman's going to be the man that's going to keep it.
As you mentioned, top 2 go to the show tonight. And, man, there's a lot of good cars that are not going to make it into the feature out of this heat race. Kenny Hoffman rocking the Logan Schuchart paint scheme. Taking a look at Sean Stevens back in that 5th spot already starting to see the field get a little single file, Joe, and that's what we talked about. With that qualifying time becomes oh so valuable to get that track position to start this heat race.
They do, and you see a lot of these guys kicking in the middle going into the turns. It's an unknown right now to get up on that top side cushion. Later on, as this track, grooves in a little bit, you're going to see them up there ripping that top side because they're going to have to. It's going to be the fastest way around. And you see right there, Hoffman's already going up there. You see how much that momentum carries him off the turn as Miller's trying everything he can to hold him off in that second place spot.
Yeah, David Allen not driving away from these guys either. Kenny Miller is just as fast, if not faster than Allen, as he gets a good run down the front stretch, and he's all over the one into turn number 1.
Yeah, you see Allen's going to take that slider line. He went down, kind of let it groove back up a little bit. Now's his time to see what that car's going to do, but he's got Miller all over his tail tank trying to see if he can't reel him in. He got a good jump off there, but then hits the wall and bobbles.
And Miller able to keep the car a little bit more wide out and handsome through the corners. And look at this, he's running up in the fluff off of turn number 4. He's got a good run off the corner. He shoots to the inside, slides Allen in turns 1 and 2, and he'll take the lead for the moment. Allen crosses him back down the backstretch into 3.
Man, that was a good slide job there, Drake, I'm going to tell you. But then he just lost that momentum when he did it. But it's back and forth. Now he's got it. He knows what he can do. The problem is you got Hoffman closing into the party.
Hoffman trying to steal that final transfer spot as they turn for the white flag off of turn number 4, this time by 1 lap to go for Allen, and it's Miller in second with the transfer. Does he make a move for the win, or does he defend for Hoffman in that final transfer spot? Miller's going to make a run for it down the backstretch. He shoots to the inside. Allen blocks. Here they come to the checkered in heat 1. Kenny Miller gets the job done.
Wow, what a finish there. You said it. Miller just came to the line, beating and banging. Bulldozed his way to it, got the win. Allen, Hoffman on the outside looking in, but what a heat race one that was. That pulls us into heat race number 2 here. We're going to grid these guys up real quick. We got Eric Wilkes out front. Brandon Voles there in second. Dustin Sargent up in third. Alex Szerzinski up in fourth. Ryland Pearson in fifth. Stephen Lernerville, I hope I said it right, in sixth. Terrell Wheeler up in seventh. Corey Sutton in 8th, and Ryan Frugal in the 9th place spot. And probably not going to get the interviews in tonight since you here.
Bert left us hanging. No doubt
Bert
about
left
that.
us hanging. Shame on you, Bert.
Can't complain too much. Last night I did that, and I think Bert did that last night too.
All right.
Yes, never a dull week here for us that covered all the Fur Motorsports events. Of course, we got the Packet Photography Midgets on Tuesdays. Obviously, the Next Level 360's on Wednesdays, and Thursday is always the big day of the week. If you're going to tune in to watch any day of iRacing action put on by the Fur Motorsports, definitely Thursday with the Apex Autoglass and Tinting Wing 410 Sprint Cars. We'll be back at it tomorrow night, same time, same place, back here at the Lernerville Speedway. But we now turn our attention to heat race number 2 for the Next Level Racing Wing 360 Sprint Cars. Wilkie and Voles on the front row.
Yeah, they are, and if it's any indication of what we saw there now, the track's getting worked in just a little bit. Well, these guys maybe start to try to venture up towards the top. We saw it a little bit there. They stayed more towards the middle of the track. That heat race 1 because of the unknown up there. Still, kind of some loose dirt. It's going to pack in as the night goes on.
No question about that. As they were rolling through 3 and 4, almost looked like the dust had resettled on the top side of 3 and 4. So very loose dirt up on the top side of 3. But the iRacing Silverado is going to dive off the edge of the back straightaway into the pit area, leaving the field in the hands of Wilkie and Voiles as they bring us down.
Absolutely. Green flag. Wilk gets a good jump out front. Voles is right there. He's going to try to defend Szerzinski, who actually bobbles a little bit. Here comes Sargent to the inside of him.
Szerzinski with a big run down the back straightaway on Voiles. Meanwhile, Lernerville a little slow in the back of the pack. Meanwhile, everybody keeps it going. Remember, no yellows in the heat races or consies as Dustin Sargent rolls the bottom, trying to get past Szerzinski. As Szerzinski eyes that second and final transfer spot, Sargent having a good little scrap with Pearson off of turn number 4. That's for 4th.
Yeah, see Pearson right there. He's picking his nose in here every once in a while. But you see Szerzinski is up there on that top side cushion. He's going to look to the inside. He's going to see if he can't throw a slider on it. He's got second right now. That is probably the way to do it. I was fixing to say that was the way to do it. Then Vols just corrected me on it. Is you want to kill the momentum of the guy behind you. He almost had it done the right way, but then Vols was able just to get on the inside. Now they got a good battle, and it looks like Szczynski's going to win that one.
But now they have closed back up on your race leader, Wilkie, down the backstretch. Szczynski finds a gap, and he shoots through it. Szczynski to the point off of turn number 4.
Boy, I'll tell you what, there's a 3-car battle up here for the lead at the transfer spot. Szczynski up top now, rumbling. He took that thing to the lead. Wilkes didn't know what he just saw go by him, but he falls the seconds. He's got to worry about running out of the transfer spot, and he does contact.
Voiles is going to get away with it. He had a nice run off the top side of turn number 4. Looked like he ricocheted off the outside wall. Now Wilkie left to defend for that 3rd spot as Voiles, one car up into the wall and flipping into turn 1. Preston Sargent upside down in turn number 1. Car comes to rest right over the edge of the racetrack. Once again, no yellows. Heat races or the Conti, so we stayed green up front. Alex Szczynski drove to the front of this one, albeit he had to work for it, but Voiles meanwhile back there in the 2nd spot as they turn for the white flag. 1 lap to go. Pearson might be too far back to make a move on Voiles for that 2nd and final transfer spot as Szczynski heads up the backstretch.
Yeah, he went in 1 and 2. He went kind of in the middle. Now 3 and 4, he's going to go down low, but he was running that topside cushion, and it's going to be all Szczynski. And Voiles 1-2 here. Pearson's going to end up in 3rd, but what a heat race it here was, number 2.
Wilkie finishes 4th after leading most of that one, and Sutton rounds out the top 5, and can't complain so far, Joe. 2 really exciting heat races to kick off the evening.
Yeah, that's Lernerville for you. Like I said, it's going to be exciting tonight. Heat race number 3, we got Steven Volson out front in this one. Ross Carrenta starting in 2nd. Randy Shreves there in 3rd. Ernie Williams Jr. up in 4th. Corey Jazz in 5th. Austin Griffey in 6th. Jared Cuno in 7th. Timpson 11. We had Timpson 9 early. Now we got 11 out here in 8th. And Garrett Pepiot in 9th. Just curious if that's their real names. I mean, that is unique. That is unique. I have to give him that. Sounds like a rapper's name.
Kind of does.
Yeah, you got 9 and 11.
Nonetheless, during this heat race, no doubt about the guy you need to keep your eyes on here is Ernie Williams Jr. rolling off from the 4th spot. And if I'm not mistaken, that's where we saw Alex Szczynski start in that 2nd heat race, and he powered to the win. So could be a little luck there on the outside of run number 2. But not to mention Ernie Williams, one of the most known drivers in this field, no question about that. Runs regularly with the Apex Auto Glass and Tinting Wing 410 sprint cars here on Thursday nights.
Yep, absolutely. Now, Volson in qualifying actually did pretty good. I think he qualified 4th here tonight in qualifying, 4th or 5th. So definitely he's got some motor up underneath that machine here. So we'll have to keep an eye out front right there with Carrenta as we're getting set here to go green flag.
Same rules apply. 10 laps, top 2 transfer into tonight's feature event. The rest will be sent to a Conti. No yellow flags.
That's
in
it.
The heat race act
heat
tonight.
Races, anyways.
If the first 2 have been any indication, this one will have some fireworks to be sure. Green flag is out. Volsong brings him down the front stretch, and he jumps out to a nice lead entering turn number 1.
Yeah, right now leaves Carrenta back there to handle with Shreves. Blinks a little bit, but you're talking about Ernie Williams Jr. He's there in 4th. He is trying everything he can, but he's got his hands full with Pepiot and Cuno right now. And actually Pepiot, who is tearing up the tail tank on his back end, it's actually a 4-car battle up front.
Williams is going to shoot to the inside now, trying to get by Shreves. Almost got 2nd off the corner, but Williams may have to settle for 3rd. Indeed, he does with a little bit of contact. Pepiot's going to try to fall through. Goes for the 2 and 1. Ooh, he gets 1, but Williams able to power around the outside. They race hard and heavy into 3 and 4. And meanwhile, Joe, those 2 are catching the 2 leaders as Carrenta and Volsong go side by side in front of them.
Yeah, and Carrenta actually takes the lead over Volson. Volson says, well, it looked good. Mine's going to look better. He goes for the slide job. Look pretty. Now they're going to try the do-si-do up here in the front. Meanwhile, when they do that, Pepiot says, I'm going to join the party. He's going to, like you said, take a 2-for-1 special.
Pepiat to the lead with a nice move on the bottom, showing the bottom's got some speed here in Pennsylvania. Now, Volensong, that was Corinta. Dives down to the inside of Pepiat, and he's going to take the lead right back. Pepiat, what does he do in 3 and 4? Does he stick down low or does he slide? He does slide, Corinta, and this time we'll keep the spot down to 1.
Oh, boy, I tell you, these guys right now, if they're not having fun, I don't know what they need to have it, because it is a back-and-forth seesaw battle up front. Pepiat now looks like he's got a little breathing room. Corinta's going to fall back if he can't regather his bearings and make another run at it here late. They both go down on the bottom side. Ernie Williams Jr. still back there in third. He's trying to hang on to it, but he's got Shreves on him.
I was going to say the top two had a nice little breakaway from Williams and Shreves. Don't know if the top has slowed down much for Williams to catch the top two or what, but it's starting to get pretty slick up on the top side. That sometimes makes it too far around the top side of the racetrack. 1 lap to go, though, with Pepiat out front.
Corinta right now, and Pepiat's going to take this thing home.
To second, those two solidly lock into tonight's feature, and Ernie Williams, who came into this heat race probably as one of the favorites to go through a Consi.
Yeah, that was a good heat race. I mean, it has been action-packed, all the heat races so far. We're not done. We got heat race number 4 here is out front. It's going to be Timothy Smith. We got Kobe. I know we've been saying a Rocky, but he sent me a message say it's actually a Rocky.
Rocky.
A Rocky is what he told me. But anyways, Coulter West going to start in third. Jason Randolph there in fourth. Trey Gerst in fifth. Liam Garrison up in 6th, Mel Dunn 7th, Matthew Croak there in 8th, Jason Lavilla, is that right? Lolivette in 9th. I would say just Jason Law.
Go with that.
Yeah. Sometimes names are not my thing. I'll leave that to Drake. Drake's the educated one.
I'm not good at them either. I have smarter people tell me that.
You're the young one, too. You're supposed to know all this stuff.
Well, my Twitter, Instagram DMs are always open. We strive for accuracy is what we do.
Go.
Race, or you have a friend or loved one that races, I totally screw something up, just let me know. We're open to suggestions.
Me too. I tell them week in and week out there, Drake, some of the names and whatnot. My southern accent sometimes steps on my tongue a lot. But it has been a great night so far. I mean, these guys, this has been a racy track. I mean, from the first heat race to now, these guys have put on a show. It's going to be interesting to see what 20 of these guys do on the track. I mean, because realistically, we're actually seeing what half of a feature is right now with 9 drivers out here. So it's going to be interesting when they all get out here, because I'm not seeing normally I said earlier the top lane will be dominant, and it has been for the most part. But we have seen guys been able to utilize the low line and middle as of right now as we go green.
On the chalk stripe in turn number 4. Green flag is out. Smith jump out to the early lead. A Rocky now struggling a little bit on the start. Smith gets away, and Coulter West now bolts to the second and final transfer spot.
He does. West able to hang on to him, but behind him it is chaos. Couple cars in the back. Looks like Gerst and Dunn get together. Rocky right there, though, he's going to take the second place for right now over West. They're going to duke it out. If they do it too long, though, it's going to bring Randolph up there into the picture.
And Timothy Smith absolutely loving this back behind him. A Rocky now takes away that second and final transfer spot. And Joe, I think you're onto something. I think it's a little too far around on the top side of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 to make this line really work. You see Randolph working the top side. I think you just got to hit it right, though. But I think it's going to be a lot easier to hit the bottom more than anything. As you see Randolph, even though he's blazing the top almost to perfection, he's still losing time and almost getting passed on the bottom.
And then real quick, the one thing I said earlier is it's safe to be down at the bottom. It's risk versus reward, and it's a high reward and a high risk to be up there on that top side, because there is no wall, and one little bobble, one little mess up. I mean, we talk about Randolph right now. He's hitting it perfect, about as perfect as you can. But if that rear right tire eating way gets over the top edge, it's gonna catch and take him off and shoot him off into the infield or outfield there, and then his night's pretty much going to be done. So yeah, it's fast up there, but it is definitely a high risk. And right now, these two guys, Smith and Rocky, have walked away from the field, and West is back here, has got his hands full with Randolph.
West actually moves up to the top side, and just like you were talking about, Joe, steps over the edge. Can he keep it out of trouble? He does. Keeps the machine running, and we stay green. But exactly what you're talking about. Try to take the top side of the low 8 from Randolph, and it bit him in the end.
It did, and that's Lernerville. It's in the name. I mean, I like this place. I love it. I mean, because it's definitely there. Lernerville, you learn real quick what you can and can't do up there. Now, Randolph has ran that top side to perfection. But in the meantime, Smith, he has been out here, and we've seen him. Look at that. He opts to go a little bit lower and towards the middle lane, which is a lot safer, almost like a slider line here.
Smith rounds off at turn number 4. He'll get the heat race win. And Colby Araki will take the second and final transfer spot out of heat race number 4.
Going to heat race number 5 here tonight, folks. Grid them up. Remington Wade out front. Ty Showblock there in second. Zach Dystra, I hope I said it right, there in third. Randy French there in fourth. Tyler Winland up in fifth. Justin Osborne in sixth. Jonathan Pouquet in seventh. Roman Gerhardt starting 8th. And Blaine Brink in the 9th place spot. And I don't know what to say. I mean, you blink and the action is just hot and heavy here. I mean, these guys have just done outstanding tonight.
No question about it. We haven't had a bad heat race yet. All 4 have been an exciting start to finish. We'll see if heat race number 5 can deliver on that.
Absolutely, man. So here we go. Top of them, man. So, yeah.
And again, I'm very curious to see where the top side stands on this heat race, because it honestly can change at any given moment. Could see the bottom just wear out really quickly and the top come back to prominence, but it's just going to be tough. I was watching Colby run the bottom in 3 and 4 especially, and you look down there, the dirt looks a lot better. Looks like it has a lot more grip to offer down the bottom side of the speedway, so I would not be the least bit surprised that that's the dominant line here in heat race number 5.
Yeah, and I'm with you. You're seeing some guys utilize that bottom. I still stay with the top side being the fast way around, and just by what a lot of drivers have said. But with that said, I go back to some of those drivers saying, although it's fast, it is very dangerous, and they prefer to stay down low if they can. As we go green, Wade gets a good jump out front here, but Showblock's going to see if he can't hold with him going up into the turn, but here comes Dystra.
Block's going to hold the second spot off at turn number 2, tries to set up for a move on Wade, and at 3 and 4 can't do it. He rides the very edge off at turn number 4 to complete lap number 1. Wineland sideways and upside down over the edge of turn number 1.
Man, just like that, and, a little contact that was between him and Zach. They were back there battling for the 3rd place spots. You got Osborne hanging behind him, Paquette in the mix there too. But meanwhile, it's all Wade, and you see him. He is utilizing that low line. And as long as it's working out front, why not keep it in? You see Showblock though ripping that top side cushion. But now he goes down low. He says, let me try it. I'm not making any ground up top. Let me see if I can put a slider line and reel in Wade.
And he closed in big time when he ran the bottom in 1 and 2. You can't follow somebody if you want to pass them, that's for sure. Again, look at the speed, especially in the center of the corner. Oh, one car around further back in the field. Looks like they keep it straight. We stay green.
Dystra
was one of the cars involved. Zach. Yes, he was.
And he was up there around about the 4th place spot. That puts Gerhardt now up in 3rd, and as I say that, here comes Osborne going to look back under. This is the best battle on the track, because meanwhile, Showblock and Wade have just pulled away. They're over a second and a half from each other. And let me bring up the gap here. Let me show you what the difference is between those two. It's about a half second between the leaders. So, yeah, there's a battle right here for 3rd and 4th.
That part's going to throw another slider. Oh, and they make contact. Osborne into the wall, upside down on the front straightaway, keeps it rolling, lands it back on all
What a
fours.
save.
I don't know if I'd qualify that as a save because he did go upside down, but nonetheless, car is upright and still running. Gephardt now runs away with that third spot.
He does. Wade still out front with this one with 2 to go. He is still utilizing that low lane, and it's working for him. As Showblock now is trying to experiment with the top side to see if he can. Now he goes down low here in 1 and 2. See what he can get coming out, and well, you see him just go way wide coming out of the turn, but it's a checkered flag. It's going to be all Wade in this one.
Remington Wade gets the job done. Ty Showblock solidly locks himself into tonight's feature event with the Next Level Racing 360's.
Well, it has been a good night so far. Appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight. Hit the likes and shares out there. I know the league would definitely appreciate it. We're in the D main here tonight already, so let's see. And I'm not quite sure how many's going to go from the D main. I haven't gotten confirmation from that. Maybe if Sparky's listed.
They're working on it.
We're working on it. There you go. Drake's down there running around pit road, man, with the chicken with his head cut off, trying to get it for us. So, well, we got Kenny Hoffman out front in this one. Jason Randolph there in second. Eric Wiltz up in third. Johnny Paquette's going to start fourth. Jared Kuno in fifth. Grant Vick in sixth. Trey Gerst in seventh. Stephen Tuberville in 8th, Zach Dystra in 9th, Austin Griffey in 10th, Adam Flieger in 11th right here. So good to see Austin Griffey back out here tonight, which he did not run in any of the heats. So he's going to try his hand in making it the long way to get to the feature.
Absolutely. So if you're not familiar with how the Consi format works, we'll explain it here real quick. Contrary to popular formats since it's really the dawn of time with sprint car racing in certain parts of the United States, you're in a D main, oh boy, you're in deep hole to dig yourself out of, because typically you transfer yourself from the D to the C to the B and eventually the A. That's not the case with the Consis. If you transfer out of the D main, you can go to the feature. So we'll take however many cars once we figure that out, once we receive confirmation.
At least 4. Got to be at least maybe 4.
I would think so. I think we're about right.
It's going to be at least 4, Now, we run it. This one doesn't run like the alphabet soup. And that has always been a thing with dirt racing. That has been, it's unique and it's different. Because like what you just said, here, you don't make it in, well, we're going to say 4 until we get confirmation. But if you don't make it in that top 4, let's say, and make it to the feature, you're done for the night. But normally, you can run, if it was the alphabet soup, you could go to the next one, or you would actually have to, if you made it to the top 4, you would go to the next main, and then you would have to qualify to the next main to get to the features. We go green. I know it's confusing, folks, but hey, there you go. It's dirt race. And Drake and Bert, they've got it under control.
We tried to. Meanwhile, at the start of this one, it's Hoffman up front, Jason Randolph ripping the top side through 3 and 4. That's your top 2 as they come across the line. Wilkie and Kuno in the 4 spots.
It does, and you see Wilkes right there trying to look on the inside to see if he can't take that spot away from Randolph. That's a good battle for second, third. Burkett, though, in the meanwhile, sitting back here, well, saying he wasn't fourth. Now Kuno says, I want that spot, and he takes it from him, so a battle for 4th and 5th.
10 laps to go in this one as Hoffman rounds off turn number 4. But you said it, Joe, best battle on the racetrack right there. You see the Wisconsin driver, Eric Wilkie, running there in the 3rd spot. Jared Kuno, mentioned him. He's in 4th right now, trying to hold off Garst, but without the track rework so far, interesting to see. Everybody's kind of bolted back to the top side, at least in 3 and 4. In 1 and 2, it's really a mixed bag. You see a lot of guys running down towards the infield, a few guys running the shots line through the middle, and then a lot of the guys almost taking the right rears off the edge of the racetrack. So varying lines, to say the least, down in turns 1 and 2.
It is, and that's kind of unique. And then again, though, you've got to look at, remember I said earlier, these guys about their setups. It's all how they have their car set up here tonight. Now you see Randolph now is going to pressure Hoffman and try to take that spot away. When he does, he loses some momentum. That brings Wilkes into the picture. We got a 3-car battle for the lead.
And off, really looked good there through 3 and 4. Has to dive down low, trying to make a pass on Hoffman. Slides up, takes the lead, and here's Wilkie to the inside.
Yeah, good. Like I said, 3-car battle, but up front, it was Randolph for a minute, but then Wilkie said, I'm going to take it. Wow. What a move.
Almost had him. Now he's going to try to shoot the gap through the middle. It's going to get one, but not the other. Randolph has the lead down the back into 3 and 4. Wilkie hangs on to the top side. Hoffman right on his tail. Take 2 laps to go.
Yeah, 3-car battle up front. These sprint machines are looking neat right now. Down on the bottom, the 2 cars of Wilkes and Hoffman. But Randolph, he is looking like he wants to step on that top side cushion to see what he can do. He did that through his heat race early on. But right now, Wilkie's going to try that low line. Is he going to be able to make the slider? No, he can't get the momentum come out of the turn.
He's going to shoot down low in 3 and 4, try to take the D-main win with the slider. Slides up. Does he get the win?
White flag.
Final lap. Wilkie going to try to make the same move again. Does Randolph learn from last time? It's going to be a drag race to the line. Randolph's going to get the win.
Yeah, and right there was all the momentum on that high side. But you saw Wilkes almost pulled it off, and I think that's kind of a prelude to what we're going to see later on for the feature. But that moves us over here to the C main as we'll grid them up. Rylan Pearson is going to be out front in this one. Roman Gerhardt starts in second. Randy Shreves there in third. Sean Stevens up in fourth, Liam Garrison in fifth, Ryan Frug in sixth, Justin Osborne seventh, Timpson 11 there in eighth, Jason Waller in ninth, Jason Law up in 10th, and then we've got Dustin Sargent in 11th, and Coulter West is going to be in the 12th place spot here starting in this one. So big field here for the C main.
Bad one either. Some competitive cars trapped here in the C main tonight here at Lernerville.
Find out
Speedway.
who he was going.
Oh my God,
must be fell asleep.
Yeah, he's busy with
Yell
something.
at him out there. Pick up. But, you blink and you're going to miss the action on this track here tonight because it has been action-packed and it's been exciting. And it's been something that maybe I'm so used to seeing the fixed setups is why I'm so used to seeing them run the top side as opposed to these being open setups where it's more of how they have the car set up. So we are seeing a lot of these guys run the low line, the middle line. I mean, we've seen some, again, we just saw right there, pass coming off the top side. So it's obviously the fastest way coming off a turn if you hit it just right. But there again, we've seen some guys blister that bottom.
I think back to one of those last few heat races, and we saw quite a few guys getting around on the bottom side. Not too shabby either, so.
Absolutely.
And one of those things we're going to have to watch, obviously. We get a track rework before tonight's feature. That will obviously affect things as green flag is out in tonight's C main. Gephardt trying to reclaim the lead from Pearson. He's going to make the deep dive down to 3 and 4. Slider clears Pearson by a few car lengths and holds the lead at the start-finish line. Pearson right back to the inside down here in turns 1 and 2.
And you saw right there, he just lost all kind of momentum. And as I say that, then Stevens does is he threaded a needle in between them, and Gerhardt was able to take it right back. But Sean Stevens still right there on the back tail tank, seeing if he can't rip him around. And you guys, Randy Shreves too in the mix. So you got about 3 and 4 machines, maybe 5 right there that can take that lead instantly with one little bobble.
Man, they are just stacking up on top of each other, almost like they're all the same speed. Stevens going to make the big lunge inside of Gephardt. Gephardt crosses him back, clears him easily down into 3 and 4. Keeps the second spot as you ride on board with Gephardt. He's now focused on chasing down Pearson. Now on board with Stevens as he's all over the 21 of Gephardt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Stevens probably got a better front row seat to this battle as he is right there on the back end of Gephardt. And now they look like they're getting a little bit of distance. Pearson's loving what he's seeing. And meanwhile, the top three's kind of spread out a little bit. And, I'm going to tell you, in the back right now, Ryan Frug out. Looks like Liam Garrison and Justin Osborne all reckon in this one, so their night might be done. Coulter West way off the pace back here in 5th place spot, though.
If you remember back to his heat race, he had a really, really good run going until he slipped off the edge of the racetrack with just a few laps to go, and that one relegating him all the way back into tonight's C main.
Another one we saw, Dustin Sargent, where you're seeing him up front. He has marred back, lost that front wing, so he's hit something there sometime tonight. Back in 7th so far, so his night's kind of dimming down a little bit. There's 11. And then we got Garrison hanging on to the 9th place spot. So kind of spread out on the field right now. As you see, Pearson's the man out front leading it. He's got a solid, almost second lead over Gephardt. And Gephardt is tearing that topside cushion. And he's got Stevens on his back deck.
Yeah, even though Pearson's been able to get away from Gephardt, Stevens has not been able to get past Gephardt for now a few laps. As I say that, Stevens dives down to the inside. Slide job clears, but the question is, does it clear all the way down the straightaway? And that is answered with the resounding yes as they turn for the white flag.
Well, you saw Gephardt right there. Looks like he was fighting that machine and got a little bit sideways on him, but he's right back there. He's going to try one more time here in the final turns. Does he got enough to put a slide job on him? He looks to the inside, not going to be quite close enough. It's going to be Pearson, Stevens, Gephardt in the top 3.
Another good race, albeit not as biting as some of those heat races, but still intense racing nonetheless. And you got to think about Stevens was all over the back at Gephardt for what seemed like the entire race. Finally was able to get by him with just a few laps to go as we now turn into the B main, the last preliminary event of the evening, Joe.
That's it, B main. It looks like this. We got Ernie Williams up front. John Helms going to start in 2nd. Matthew Croak there in 3rd. Corey Sutton up in 4th. Blaine Brink in 5th. Stephen Volson up in 6th. Timpson 9 there in 7th. Mel Dunn in 8th. Terrell Wheeler starting in 9th. Randy Fritch in 10th. Corey Jazz in 11th. And Taylor Winland going to be in the 12th place spot here. Like you said, last chance for these guys here tonight to get in. But we still got a stacked field, and we got some heavy hitters in here that might go home.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, Ernie Williams is the guy I think of first and foremost that you just mentioned there, of guy that could go home. John Helms, for crying out loud, on the podium at Kokomo, now in a B main at Lernerville just exactly 1 week later.
Winland, another one, tonight's not went his way, and you said Ernie Williams, both of those drivers back in 11th and 12th, so they got their work cut out for them.
You also think back to Winland's heat race, a bit of an issue, got sent off the edge of the racetrack in turn 1 and basically ended his run the heat race, so he's looking for redemption. Should be getting the one to go signal this time by, and the Chevy Silverado should be pulling off the speedway.
It is. Going to get a B main here tonight. Let us know who your favorite drivers are out there. Who you pulling for, rooting for? Because it's going to be interesting when this feature comes around. I think it's going to be Mayhem City. But here we go. Pace truck's in. Green flag's about to fly.
Off of turn number 4, green flag, and you got to imagine a lot of eyes on John Helms in this one as they race off into turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, I know Helms wants to go ahead and get out front early, but at Croaky right there maintaining that bottom, and Helms going to stay up top. And meanwhile, behind him, you got Brinken. Oh, we got a big one in the back here. That collects Corey. Yeah, that collects Corey Sutton. They're going to throw the yellow on that one because there's just a lot. We'll go back on the replay, but that got Corey Sutton, Volson, Wheeler, Dunn, French, all involved. Let's go back here and see. And it looks like a little bit of tag right there with Sutton, and then just mayhem.
Just the rest of them kind of piled in there, Joe.
Yeah, nowhere to go. It's a tight track. These are short tracks, folks. I mean, so they are tight. And when they, you start getting these cars piling up like that, dirt's not as easy to stop on as asphalt. I've talked about this a couple of times. Granted, no car's going to stop on a dime at the speed that they're going, but on dirt, it's like you're driving on ice. These cars just will not stop as quick as you will on an asphalt track.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, a lot of people don't really think the slick is that slick. And, well, you put a insanely powered race car that is also very light on that, and then it does become very slick and very hard to control indeed.
Absolutely. Now, we talked about Ernie Williams and Winland. They were able to benefit and get through that, and now they're up to 6th and 7th. Again, I'm not 100% sure who's going feature-wise. I'm going to say they're still outside looking in. I would like to be in that top 4 or 3 just to be safe, to know that I'm in the show here. The drivers probably know. We're still trying to find out, and I know that's bad to sound on the announcer side of things, but Parky keeps us in the dark, and I've said a million times. Now, Drake and I know Bert know, but it's Common Core math when you think about dirt racing. So I don't even try.
Yeah, I mean, and you may be saying, well, just being paced what it has been. Well, the short story is that, with more heat races and all that, and iRacing programs go a lot quicker than your average Saturday night sprint car race, and therefore it's a little harder to do math. Anyway, We're back to green. Croaky's still out front. John Helms hanging on to second. Here's Blaine Brink to the inside in that 21 machine going to work on John Helms. The 221 cars do get out into 3.
Yeah, Brink's looking strong. Going to try that low line, actually the middle part of the track, and see if he can't get something done. As it looks like everybody's kind of now feeding that top side. We saw earlier there was more down toward the bottom, but they're starting to get up there and run that top side cushion, and that's the Lernerville that I'm used to seeing. I still think, though, as the race goes on, maybe with a reset, you're going to see these guys go right back. But look at this. Everybody's on top of each other on a blanket.
Ernie Williams slides up past Brink for that 3rd spot. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Helms going to take a look on the 2 machine. Trying to get that lead through turns 1 and 2. Stepped it down through the middle, Joe. Didn't really commit.
He's here in spirit.
There. Joe and I don't get to work together a whole lot. Anyway, meanwhile, down to the bottom goes John Helms. Right there, it just looks like he's not able to get the drive off the corner as he's going through this slick, and that opens the door for Ernie Williams. So Helms has got to be careful. I think if he wants the lead, he's going to just have to go out there and either really nail the bottom or slide 2 car of Croaky. But now here's down the back, straight away through 3 and 4. Croak trying to blaze it around the top, keep Helms at bay. Crash back behind him, 1 upside down.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you what, I'm hoping there's 5 cars that go to the feature, and we'll know here pretty soon here once we get past our warm-up. But Ernie Williams, I'm going to say, was able to drive himself from the back to the front to get in to the feature tonight with Croaky, Helms there, and Williams, the top 3. Winland, by the way, is sitting in 5th with Brink there in 4th. So, again, I'm not sure if they're taking 4s, they're taking 5, or taking whatnot, but we will find out. We're going to step away here real quick. Get a word from some of the sponsors, and folks, don't go anywhere because we'll be right back.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another night of Apex Auto Glass and 410 Sprint Car Championships here on OSRN. My name is Bert Lloyd. Alongside me again this week here is the great Drake York.
Defensive line at 3 and 4. Does Merriman have anything up top? Does he have anything on the bottom? Checker flag is out. Mason Hannigan, your winner at the dirt track at Charlotte.
Bergeron takes the defensive line. He'll pick up win number 5 of the year. Alex Bergeron wins at Weedsport. First win of the season off of turn number 4. Hayden Carl wins here at Cedar Lake. Tyler Shell will win the 4th season of the Apex Auto Glass and Tanning 410 Sprint Car Championship presented by B&B Race Simulators. He wins the championship once again here tonight.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the next level 360s here on iRacing. As you can see, warm-ups getting close to being concluded here at the Lernerville Speedway, and then we'll get into tonight's feature event. Anything really different with the feature event with the next level of 360s is the fact that obviously the races are a lot longer. Only 3 matter because then you get to talk to me on the podium, but also the flags will be in effect. Also, a rule with all the Firm Motorsports series, no fast repairs, so you really got to take care of your car for all 35 laps. Joe, let's meet our starting lineup.
Yeah, we got Kenny Miller going to be out front. We know he is quick, so he's going to start this field. Alex Rzinski last week had a little bit of trouble, but he's up front tonight. Garrett Pepe there starts in 3rd. Timothy Smith in 4th. Remington Wade in 5th. David Allen starts in 6th. Brandon Voles in 7th. Ross Carenta up in 8th. Kobe Rocky there in 9th. Ty Shoblock in 10th. Jason Randolph starting in 11th. Rylan Pearson up in 12th. Matthew Croakey in 13th. Eric Wiltz 14th. Sean Stevens in 15th. John Helm back in 16th. Got his work cut out for him. Him and Kenny Hoppin there in 17th. Roman Gerhardt's 18th. And the man Ernie Williams, who snuck it in there in his last B main, starting in 19th, is going to be in the back of that field. And most notably, we talked about it in the B main, Wendland did not make it in. But Ernie Williams drove from the back to the front in that B main to make it here tonight. But now he's got to do it again where it counts. And we've seen it's doable here because it's a passable track. Some tracks, I would say, Probably going to be a tough task, but here tonight looks like there's some multi-grooves to get it done.
Absolutely, and off the track rework, it's a little slick on the top side, but nothing terrible as the field makes their way out on the Lernerville Speedway surface.
It is. So Miller, Strzezinski, Pepiot, that's 3 fast machines right there up front. And we'll have to see how, kind of, I don't know, aggressive they want to get early on, or do they just want to kind of set the pace of this race? I've always said it in any race, you got to be there at the end to win it. You can't win it on the first or 10 laps in. You've got to be there in that end part here in order to put the big money on the line, or put that big trophy on the top of your mantle, so to speak.
Absolutely, and again, I just go back to all the grooves. Obviously, you can get that big run off the corner if you run the top, and exactly what you talked about earlier, Joe. It's risk versus reward, as the Silverado is going to head off the speedway, leaving the field in the hands of Miller and Strzezinski. For turn number 4, we are green with the next level 360s here at Lernerville.
And we got Kenny Miller jumping out front, and you see Garrett Pepiot already with Wade taking that bottom side and taking away second place from Strzezinski, who falls all the way back to the 4th place. But the battle's on as you got 2 down low, 2 up high. They're going to try to see if they can make 3 wide. They're 4 wide in the back here, though.
Field sorting itself out, and you're right, Joe. Lots of racing front to back. That's what we love to see. Kenny Miller is going to lead the first 2 laps of tonight's Next Level 360 main event. Is a little bit of being and banging. Look at Jason Randolph, blazed around 2 or 3 cars and 1 car round on the inside of the backstretch. That's going to draw the first yellow flag.
Yeah, Ross Carenta. Let's go back and watch and see what happened to him. He was actually kind of middle pack right there on that bottom. And it looks like 2 cars in front of him, and he's just victim of nowhere to go.
Sideways. Yeah, that's showing block sideways in front of him, just nowhere to go, as you said, Joe.
And that's just how much it'll close up on you here. But yeah, that's dirt racing there for you, Drake. Action in the front, middle, back. I've always said if you blink, you're gonna miss the race. If you go into the next room and get you a sandwich or something, we're already in the next week. It's that quick here on dirt.
No kidding. You should be around for sprint week, Joe. Afraid you'd fall asleep and you'd miss the entire week.
And it's just like that here. I mean, I've seen it. Sometimes these guys might get spread out, but you saw right there. With so many multiple grooves here tonight, it's going to be action to the front, the middle, and the back. Not saying the leader probably can't get away from the pack, or maybe the top 3 can. But if you're marred back around, I'm going to say 5th, 8th, 10th place home back, it's going to be tough sledding to try to get around those cars because everybody's going to be packed up on top of each other.
You said it, and we saw that in the first 3 laps completed. Actually, it'll be the first 2 laps completed. Anyway, we saw that pretty early and often, and the big thing I took away from that start is Kenny Miller's launch in that 23. Really got away, yeah. And he got a good run off of 4 too, I think, which really set him up for that second lap, and made that car pretty untouchable for the first few laps of this race. So I'm interested to see if he can replicate that. Obviously, you got Pepiat, Wade, Allen, all those guys right on top of him.
The one good thing about the leader is you get to dictate when the field goes. Now, it's better if you have a single file start, because then it's just you got nobody on your outside or inside as we're getting set to go green. Pace truck's in, and Miller, you see him right there, gets a good shot out of the cannon. He is out front, him and Pepiot. There kind of nose the tail tank, but on the inside, here comes Wade, and then in the back here about middle ways with show block and all, they're battling it out. Meanwhile, Pepiot, though, is under fire by Miller.
Yeah, Miller wasn't able to get out to the early lead like we saw him on that initial start, and Pepiat's going to slide up in front of him, take the lead. Miller darts back to the inside, and he clears the 47 down to 3 and 4. More cars piling on top of him. That's Wade coming in on the bottom. Wade gets a little bit sideways off the corner, is going to lose some valuable time. Allen now up to 3rd.
Man, I tell you what, like I said, here the top 3 cars now have hooked up. But then Allen says, I'm not satisfied with sitting there. As you see a little bobble on the wall by Pepiot. Now he's going to go down low. You got Smith, Wade there. Look at Pepiot's going to squeeze on the top side as Smith's going to look down there. He's got a front row seat to this battle.
Yeah, Smith is actually going to blaze around the outside of Pepiot in the third. Wade now relegated back to fifth after he got sideways. And here's Trzynski off the corner trying to make this a 3-car race for the fourth spot as they dive into 3.
Well, I tell you what, action right here. I mean, these guys are close at it. But meanwhile, it's Miller out front holding it down. Allen right behind him, who is up 4 spots. You got Smith. Those 3 are trying to move away from the pack. The big battle's happening back here with Wade and Pepiot. They're side by side, and they've made contact. And Pepiot's going to pay the price. Along with it, looks like Trzynski is also off the track. Wade off the track. Finally, the caution does come out. Let's go back and watch it one more time. But yeah, Wade and Pepiot look like got the worst end of that. Trzynski, I think, kind of survived.
Yeah, he kept it rolling.
Here. Yeah, he kept that one rolling, but I think Wade actually went off. You see him right there. They lock up tires. Ooh, Garrett Pepiot off the track. Then you're going to see Wade right here. Yeah, that's where Trzynski and him got together. And then Wade off the track. You see Pepiot upside down right there. So that's Lernerville.
A tough break for those guys is, yep, there you see it. Fiat going up and over. Thought he was going to be able to keep that car in all fours, but I guess the right side dug in just a little too much. And what has happened to Remington Wade?
Yeah, he was up front.
He was in that accident, but I don't think that had anything to do with him getting on his side on the backstretch.
Can't go back here on the replay. There's where his accident's happening.
I think he drove away from this no problem.
Ooh.
Oh, he spun and got hit by Williams.
Oh, okay, yeah, and then just kind of just went down the bottom. Okay. All right.
It looked like from where that replay stopped that he was able to drive away. I didn't realize he got hit by Williams. And
yeah, I was back on Pepe there on the replay. Yeah,
we got the full story.
Just unfortunate for him tonight. Wade up there, battling really good, but doesn't take much. These are open wheel style cars here, folks, and you get tangled up. I mean, even in the real world, we see it. It's unfortunate, but it's going to happen.
Time and time again, really, and it happens in a variety of ways, whether it's the rear end going over the front end or somebody hauling into the corner a little deeper than probably need to be, and a car slowing in front of them, or there's a million different ways we can see accidents like that happen, no question about it, and that's just how that one worked out. Anyway, we'll see if Kenny Miller can jump out to the lead once again on this restart. He has been dominant. Time gets off to a really good start, and Smith is going to follow him. In fact, Smith might take the lead as Yellow already back out.
Ernie Williams Jr. Oh, we were just talking about him. He's back here in the back. Let's see what happened to him. Him also
got a piece of that last wreck. Let's see.
Oh, right there.
Just kind of a meeting
Randolph
in the middle.
Was involved. Gephardt and Kaufman all involved in that one too. Cars just flying in the air and ouch.
Remember, no fast repair with this series, so
now,
you don't get any quick repair in the work area. Now, you do get work area time. You can get towed in and that sort of thing, but you don't get a fast repair.
See Williams going in. He doesn't look too bad off. You ever saw that in the real pits? Somebody going inside of a car, you better run because that's some supernatural stuff. No. He didn't look too bad. At least the wing is still on. You see a little bit of the bar there. It's kind of cracked on it, but hopefully he can get that thing fixed and get back out here. This man here, though, it's been his show. Now, he gets to go single file. This is where it really benefits the leader.
Really does, and man, he had a good start, but I'll tell you who had an even better start. That was Timothy Smith. He launched off the inside of row number 2, and I think I made the comment that he got a really good start, but now he's going for more because he was Kenny Miller clear as day. on that restart through 1 and 2 until that yellow came out. Very curious how that would have played out, but good news for him. He's going to line up in that second spot when we go back to green flag racing with 25 laps to go.
Absolutely, and we're going to see if he can take it down low here. I mean, Miller's been able to get those jumps out front, but it doesn't matter. I mean, like right there, he gets a jump. But watch Smith coming in here in turn 1 and 2. And he's going to sling that machine down there, and so he closes that gap back up instantly. The problem is he does lose a lot of momentum doing it, but he keeps him right there in striking distance. Meanwhile, David Allen's there in third. He's got his hands full with Szerszynski, who has had an up-and-down race but has maintained up here in the top 4 spot.
Szerszynski, if you remember, just a few moments ago, was involved in that big crash. As here goes Smith. Slider's going to clear. He'll take the lead, not for long. Kenny Miller back to the inside through turns 1 and 2. He's going to hug the bottom. Smith tries to bring it around the outside. They're side by side, almost a dead heat down to 3 and 4.
And you know, you saw that.
Again.
You saw that right there. You saw that is a context between him and Allen, but you saw Miller. Well, he almost came off the turn, but then you saw Smith have that run coming off the turn, but then about the middle of the straightaway, Miller was able to hold with Smith, and then they just kind of, made contact. And now Allen's up there in the second place spot, and, well, Miller's now sitting back here in third going, what happened?
In a matter of moments, Kenny Miller went from leading this race back to third with 19 laps to go. He's going to dive to the inside, try to reclaim that second spot. But again, the problem with throwing that slider is you lose a lot of momentum off the corner. So you really got to make sure not only you clear the car, most importantly, but also down the straightaway, you're able to maintain that position. He's going to try it again. Looked like he carried more momentum off the corner that time, but Allen's still able to respond fairly quickly. So he's going to pull a slider of his own to reclaim the second spot.
Biggest thing I'm seeing right now is when they throw that slider right there, you see Miller does. When the car goes up the track, it is almost like it bogs down. I don't know if that's a gearing issue. It's got to be part of his setup or what, and maybe a little bit of the track. But it's almost like that car hits a brick wall as soon as it goes to the top and allows the car behind him to be able to counter that slide job. And you see Allen's been able to do it. Now it's kind of a crisscross between the two. Meanwhile, Smith is loving what he's seeing because he is just walking away in the moonlight.
Now Kenny Miller left fighting for that third spot down on the bottom step of the podium. Here's Colby Ackery. And Colby's going to work to the inside just like he was last week at Kokomo, catfishing around the bottom. He might get onto the podium.
He is looking very strong right now. I mean, that inside lane could come in here late if we get some long green flag runs. You see Miller right there throw a huge slide job on the inside of Allen. But again, that car just dies on the top end, and then he goes up and over.
Off.
Wow, Lernerville bit him.
Caution, yellow flag.
Green flag is out. Now the caution comes out.
Figured that was going to kick a caution as soon as he came over the top. iRacing was going to be like, maybe would have went around the outside and kept going. It might have. Yeah, that's Lernerville for you right there. That is a perfect example of what this track will do. You think you got it under control, and that top side cushion will step out there and bite you.
Well, now here's the big question when we come back to green with 12 laps to go is what does David Allen have for Timothy Smith at the front of this field? Because we haven't seen these two go tooth and nail for the race lead, obviously, and now that Kenny Miller, the dominant car really of this race, is going to be relegated very, very far back into this field. It kind of brings some new players to the fray.
It does. Rocky there. Szerszynski's still in the mix. You got Pearson, Helm, Choblock, all those guys up there. I know Smith did not probably want to see this caution because he had a huge lead out front. And if he wanted to see a caution, he would have loved to have seen it maybe in the next 3 or 4 laps. So that way it would have put it single file. Don't think this one's going to be single file because we're not under the 10-lap mark yet.
But right
as
now,
I say that,
just as you say that, go single file.
I don't know how, but it did it on us. But nonetheless, Smith, then now he might be saying, okay, great. That was a blessing in disguise because now look at a Rocky going down to the bottom. He's got that bottom side rocking.
No matter if it's Kokomo, that tight little bull ring in Indiana, or this big, wide, sweeping track here in Lernerville, Pennsylvania. He knows how to get around the bottom side, and he is showing us once again how good he can be in that 30 machine. He pulls even with Allen, but again, that top side's so good. But man, Colby, definitely the best guy on the bottom side of the racetrack, entry to middle of the corner. And he may have a shot here for second once again. He gets very close to Allen. Allen that time runs the middle. That's going to give Akari a little bit of an advantage on the backstretch.
Yeah, right now, whatever he's doing down low, keep doing it as a race to the line. It still looks like the outside's got that momentum coming off, but it's only going to take one little bobble by Allen, and, Rocky's going to be able to just streamline right by him. But Smith, he's got that top lane rolling, and he's going to be a hard one to beat, I believe, up there.
Allen steps it down through the middle side of turns 1 and 2. And here's Alex Trzynski, who's had an up-and-down race, to say the least. He is now coming into the picture back in that 4th spot.
I see this, and I'm going to be curious if Colby's going to commit and stay down on that bottom lane. Sometimes it might be all set up. He's got no choice but to stay down there. It's where the car's working the best, even though it might not be the fastest, because you see Trzynski coming into the picture and closing in very quick. As long as he doesn't make a mistake and bobble, I think Trzynski's going to be there if time doesn't run out on him.
But you mentioned time is going to be a factor. 5 laps to go. We are nearing the conclusion of tonight's event. Rocky maybe has lost a little bit of that special touch because it seemed like he was storming through. Now is kind of stalled out just behind David Allen. Trzynski, what happened to him? He's no longer in the fray for this battle for the second spot.
What happened? I just noticed that. My bad. He's back here now in a battle with Wilkes and company. But, yeah, he must have got up there bobbled. Like I said, only takes a little bit as John Helm is out by himself. But Trzynski is now back in 5th place. He is back here in this haymaker of a style battle going on with Wilkes, Kuroki, Showblock, and Stevens. They got a good battle going on back here. This is around about 10th place spot.
And not a bad battle there. Trzynski goes from battling for a podium position to fighting to staying in the top 5. But meanwhile, Timothy Smith turns and takes the white flag. He's on his final lap, trying to lock up the win here at Lernerville through 3 and 4. Not the dominant car throughout, but the dominant car at the end is going to get the victory. That's Timothy Smith. He's your winner. David Allen second, and Colby Araki is third.
Man, what a finish. What a race here tonight. I mean, it was an awesome one. Kind of a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Unbelievable, or, we just, we didn't know who was going to pull this one off here. But Smith, out of nowhere, coming home here tonight, winning it, along with Allen and Rocky there. If we can't get these guys up here and get a word with them, we'll wait till they come in. But all night long, I don't think you could ask for any better racing than what we saw here tonight.
Oh, most definitely not. I mean, these guys were on top of each other, start to finish. And sure, Timothy Smith got away at the end, but there was still fantastic racing throughout. We had to cut away from that amazing battle between Trzynski and quite a few others. Battle for the 5th spot, which was more like a 5-car battle. I think give it 5 or 6 more laps, and it could have been a 7 or 8 car battle for not only 5th, but to get inside the top 10.
Yeah, and that's the thing about racing. I do up here try to cover a lot of what battles going on. We knew Smith had that huge lead out there, unless he just fell off the end. Pretty much was going to sell it home, but nonetheless, an awesome battle back there. Let's bring you up here the 3rd place man. Let's get a word with him.
3rd place tonight, Colby Araki. And Colby, you were catfishing around the bottom yet again. We were talking on the broadcast, doesn't matter if it's that tight little bull ring in Kokomo, Indiana, or this big sweeping track here in Lernerville, Pennsylvania. You're good on the bottom. What makes you so good down there?
I don't know. For me personally, I mean, I run quite a bit of test sessions on worn out tracks that just trying to hit the bottom line and trying to hit it consistent, and I guess just a little bit of throttle control here and there. But yeah, you know, the objective was just to keep the nose clean and run on the bottom.
Anybody you'd like to thank for helping you get on the podium?
Yeah, I'd like to thank FSI Motorsports, all the guys there that help kind of support this deal and make it what it is. I'd like to thank My Race Pass Fantasy Racing. I'd like to thank MB2 Raceway, Killer Attitude Clothing, and there's plenty of others too that help make this possible. Hats off to Tim Smith and Dave Allen. It's always fun racing against those guys. And thank you at OSR for broadcasting. You guys do a great job. Sparky, I got to give you a shout out as well. Great job, man. I know you got your hands full, but we appreciate what you do.
Will be a Rocky, third place here tonight at Lernerville. Where we change his name every week.
Yeah, and the only reason I know is he sent me a message one night. That's the only reason I know, and I know y'all were saying, and I don't think I relayed it to y'all, but he was like, it's pronounced A-Rock-E. And he actually typed it out like that to me, and I went, thank you, because I messed it up. Hey, good run for him tonight, like you said, in third. Let's bring on the second place guy down here, and let's get a word with him.
Second place tonight, David Allen. And David, it seemed like you had a car that could hang with Timothy Smith and Kenny Miller. Just couldn't really get up there, but you were trying quite a few different lines. Did you find something towards the end maybe that could have given you a shot to go for the win?
At Tim Smith is just, around the top there is probably one of the best, if not the best, around the top there. So I to be honest with you, I doubt it. I was looking, I was searching, but he for sure is the best.
Anybody like to thank for getting you on the podium?
Absolutely. Elite Performance Industries, for sure. They do a lot for me, a lot for our team. The exterior company, HRI, all the guys at HRI help a ton with testing. So, and Josh Van Manen for putting this on.
Second place tonight, David Allen. Bring up your winner, Timothy Smith.
Yeah, down there and get our winner tonight, Smith.
Timothy Smith, tonight's winner, and Timothy, wow, you had a great battle with Kenny Miller there. Take me through that battle and tell me how you eventually got clear of the 23.
Well, it's about being patient. I knew the top was going to come in eventually. I just had to be patient, smooth, consistent. And as soon as that yellow came out, I knew the top came in, and we just sent her the slide job on Kenny, and we drove away.
But I'd like to thank for helping you get the win tonight.
Of course, M9 Setups, we got an amazing program over there. I'm doing the coaching sessions over there. I would like for everybody to check that out sometime. Then we got Trevor Meyer, Isaac Soares, Kenny. There's so many people that put this thing together, man. It's amazing what we got.
Here's your winner tonight, Timothy Smith here at Pennsylvania's Lernerville Speedway.
Absolutely, and he learned what he could do here tonight, and he put it in victory lane for it. And what a race. I mean, from the heat races to the consolation to the feature, I don't think we could ask any more. And if that does not get you up and running around getting exciting, go watch fishing, because I don't know what else to do.
Well said there, Joe. And man, just a fantastic night, start to finish. You really can't complain. Really get you in the mood for tomorrow's Apex Auto Glass and Tinting Wing 410 Sprint Car here event. The Lernerville Speedway once again back here on OSRN tomorrow. Same time, same place, YouTube, Facebook, all the good places to watch the racing action. What's your major takeaway from tonight?
It was interesting. Like I say, a lot of the guys stayed off that top side and was able to, dominate here on the bottom too. You see a Rocky was able to use that low line, but a lot of the guys didn't get in trouble on that top end. So that's where you really, if you can come out of this place without going over the edge, we've seen it a couple times, but come out of here without doing it, then you've definitely conquered this place.
Well said, Joe. Well, for everyone here at OSRN, Joe White, I'm Drake York saying so long from Lernerville Speedway.